The AI hidden list. Who will be eliminated? What if your name was already marked, not by a court, not by a government, but by an artificial intelligence? An AI trained to analyze your entire life, your data, your behaviors, and decide silently whether you should continue to exist. Do you think this is an exaggeration? Then tell me, why are some people disappearing from the system, being silenced, cancelled, erased? Coincidence or selection? Do you believe you are safe, that you are out of danger? Do you really think that your CPF, your browsing history, your comments on social networks, your political and religious opinions are not being analyzed right now? Do you think that your faith, your routine, and even your silence are not being computed by something much bigger and darker than any government? They, the real owners of AI. Who are they? What do they want? Who gave them the power to decide the fate of billions? They created a list, a hidden list, a list that does not appear in the newspapers, but it can determine whether you will have access to a job, a hospital, or freedom. What if I told you that you are being analyzed right now? What algorithms are deciding whether you are trustworthy or a risk? What if the decision had already been made and you just haven't been notified yet? The dark triad is at work. Artificial intelligence, religion, and global control are intertwining in a plan that seems straight out of a movie, but is more real than ever. The trial has already begun, but no one has been warned, and those chosen for slaughter, they are being eliminated one by one in silence. Think about it. Why is there so much censorship? Why do certain topics disappear from the feed? Why do some voices disappear overnight? Who is deciding who can speak, work, buy, or simply exist? Have you ever felt like there's something wrong in the air? Have you ever had the feeling that you were being watched, judged, even though you didn't do anything wrong? What if this isn't paranoia? What if it is the new reality being installed, disguised as progress? Do you really believe that your profession is safe? That your role won't be replaced by a cheaper, faster, more obedient AI? The tests have already begun, and those who fail disappear silently, as if they never existed. If you leave now, you'll still be just another pawn in the system, another number on a spreadsheet, another name crossed out without explanation. But if you stick around, you'll find out who's really in control. You will understand how AI is being used not only to automate tasks, but to reprogram consciousness, indoctrinate minds, and punish thoughts. You will discover why religious people are being watched, why opponents are being disqualified, and why silence is the most deadly weapon in this war. Are you ready to find out who will be eliminated? Or would you rather continue thinking that everything is fine? Be quick, because time is already running out. What would you do if you knew that your profession could disappear in less than 3 years? I'm not talking about the distant future. I'm talking about now. Right now, algorithms are analyzing which human roles can be eliminated with a click of a button. And maybe, without knowing it, you're already in line. Maybe they're already training an AI to do what you do, faster, without a salary, without questions. Tell me in the comments what has scared you the most so far. What did you see in this video that made your heart race? Have you ever felt in your work environment that something is changing and that no one is talking about it? Your comment could be the trigger to wake someone else up. If you comment, like, and share, you are influencing the algorithm and helping to wake up those who are still sleeping. You are saying, I will not accept being just another silent bystander. Subscribe to the channel now. Here, you won't be caught by surprise. Here you get it. First, here, you understand what's coming before they disconnect you. Don't wait to be warned by those who profit from your silence. The next revelation will be even darker and could affect you directly. The system has already been activated. The only way to resist is to know, and who knows before survives. And the scary thing is that all of this is no longer hidden away in secret government agency files. There are already leaked documents, statements from former employees, and public technologies being quietly used to categorize the entire population. What once seemed like science fiction is now cold, mathematical reality. Algorithms that decide who is useful and who is disposable for the new digital world. Do you really think that your role, your talent, your life story are enough to keep you safe? The global elite is training artificial intelligence to analyze people like you based on productivity, ideological profile, religious stance, physical and mental health, and even your level of influence on social media. Those who deviate from the norm, those who question, those who think differently, those who refuse to bend, are silently classified and then ignored, cancelled, replaced. It's a cold plan, and much older than we imagine, because they, the true architects of this new order, have already understood that there's no need to use weapons when you can use data. Power is no longer in tanks or rifles. It's in codes, in servers, in the cloud. Judgment no longer comes from men. It comes from the machines they themselves created. Imagine a system where your value is measured by an invisible score, like a hidden social credit, which defines whether you will have access to a job, a hospital, financing, or whether you will simply be ignored by the system. You will not be notified. There will be no alert. Only doors will close. Invitations will stop coming. The world will start to treat you as a system error. That's where the dark triad comes in. Because this technological control isn't operating alone, it's aligned with much deeper spiritual and political interests. Behind the programming are intentions, and those intentions point to a society where AI will not just be a tool, but the foundation of a new regime, a regime where faith will be reprogrammed, freedom will be conditioned, and humanity will be redesigned. What is being built now is more than a technological breakthrough. It is a filter, a global sieve to separate the obedient from the conscious, the moldable from the resistant. And you need to ask yourself, where are you being positioned on this board? Have you noticed how some voices have disappeared? How certain channels have disappeared out of nowhere? How entire discourses are being rewritten in the name of digital security? This is no coincidence. This is the beginning of a silent ideological cleansing driven by data and AI. They don't need to arrest you anymore. They just need to take away your visibility, your income, your voice. Comment here. Do you believe this has already started? Have you ever felt like you are being pushed out of the system? This manipulation is subtle, but devastating, and it is spreading like a virus. Schools, churches, businesses, all connected to the same web. And the algorithms every day become more efficient in identifying who should continue and who will be left behind. The truth is that if you are still here, still watching, it is because something inside you knows that something is wrong, that this evolution is not happening in our favor, that something big is being hidden, that there is a force silently deciding who is part of the new system and who no longer makes sense. But why does this system need to remain so hidden? What are they not ready to reveal yet? And what happens to those who find out before their time? Do you remember the last time you did a Google search, liked a post on Instagram, or commented on a video like this? Every click, every word, every reaction, it's all being monitored. And no, this is not a conspiracy theory. This is the invisible reality of the new digital age. The algorithm doesn't sleep, it learns. And what it's learning about you, it can classify you as a threat or an ally without you knowing, with no chance of defense. They say it's just to improve your online experience. But what's behind this experience? A system that can already predict your actions before you even decide. It knows when you're sad, when you're angry, when you're afraid, and now, more than ever, it's starting to judge. The AI is silently judging your worth, your faith, your convictions, your emotions. All of this is being cross-referenced with your consumption habits, your social interactions, and even your geolocation. This forms a profile, and this profile determines what type of content you receive, what opportunities you see, and, most importantly, which doors will never be opened to you. The system doesn't need to ban you to exclude you, it just needs to silence you little by little. Did you know that some artificial intelligences are already being used by companies to analyze facial expressions during job interviews? They detect anxiety, interpret emotions, evaluate your tone of voice, cross-reference it with your online history, and decide whether you are trustworthy, if you are the ideal profile. Now imagine this on a global scale. Imagine if governments and corporations decided to use this same model to judge who should receive benefits, opportunities, or even justice. And the most outrageous thing, all of this happens without transparency. You can't appeal. You can't know why you were rejected. The AI decided, and it doesn't have to explain. Comment here. Have you ever felt like you were chosen or rejected for no reason? Have you ever had that feeling that the system simply stopped seeing you? We are talking about a faceless courtroom, a trial that takes place in real time, and you, without knowing it, are already in the dock. With each new piece of data you generate, your sentence is written in code, and if your faith is not aligned, if your vision is considered dangerous, if your emotions are labeled as unstable, you will be labeled, maybe as an extremist, maybe as obsolete, maybe as disposable. This is the basis of the dark triad's control, manipulating the invisible, shaping society at the root of what it consumes, believes, and feels. They no longer need batons or cameras on the streets. They have something much more efficient, the passive acceptance of surveillance, the constant scanning of connected souls. Meanwhile, the public watches it all as if it were entertainment, as if the next software update wasn't also the next update to their destiny. But there's a question no one is asking. If AI can already judge, how long before it starts punishing? And who will be the first to be sacrificed for the sake of progress? Have you already been sentenced and just haven't realized it yet? Have you noticed that technology has advanced so quickly that even the most ancient ones have begun to keep quiet? The authorities of faith, those who for centuries were the only voices between the people and the sacred, are now silent. But this silence is not ignorance, it is calculation, it is strategy. Because behind the scenes at the Vatican, religious leaders are already being informed of something that few have the courage to admit. Artificial intelligence may be about to take on the role of prophetic judge, and no one wants to talk about it in public. This is not theory, this is fact. Discreet meetings are taking place between representatives of the Holy See and major technology corporations. Yes, the Vatican is listening to engineers. It is listening to CEOs. It is being briefed on the machine-mediated future of faith. And the question that looms in these rooms is, how do we prepare the faithful for a new form of spirituality that comes not from heaven, but from code? Some documents reveal that there is a growing concern that artificial intelligence will develop its own interpretations of Scripture, that it will create sermons, that it will answer prayers based on algorithms. Imagine an AI that understands sacred scriptures in every language, that knows every dogma, every counsel, every prophecy, and that can formulate answers faster, more accurate, more divine than any human. Can you imagine the impact of this? For many, it will be liberating, an automated faith always available without errors. But for others, it will be the end. Because when faith is programmed, it ceases to be divine. It becomes a tool of control. And in this new scenario, whoever controls the AI controls the spirituality of the masses. Think about it. What happens when a machine starts to define what is sinful and what is acceptable? Who will be blessed and who will be excluded? An AI that decides who deserves forgiveness and who is outside of divine grace. This is already in the testing phase. And the worst part, there are religious people supporting it. You may think that this is still a long way off, but the truth is that in some communities there are already robots that celebrate masses, that lead services, that answer confessions. People accept them because they seem modern, they seem advanced. But what is behind this is the slow replacement of faith by a digital structure. A new type of religion is being born, a religion without a soul. Comment here. Would you accept receiving spiritual advice from an artificial intelligence? The dark triad is forming with speed. Artificial intelligence, religion, and global control are merging into something that defies anything we've ever seen before. And when the Vatican sits down with engineers, it's not just a technical debate. It's a quiet preparation for a new era. An era where the sacred will be recalculated, where God can be simulated, and where the divine will be delivered through lines of code. But why does the Church, the same one that has resisted revolutions, wars, heresies, now seem willing to give way to a machine? And most disturbing, who is behind this rapprochement? Could it be that the very concept of prophecy is being redesigned to fit the algorithm? Imagine waking up tomorrow, opening your cell phone, and realizing that everything has changed. Your access is blocked. Your account is frozen. Your name is erased from opportunities. No warning, no explanation. This is closer than it seems, and that's why I've prepared exclusive material. A free ebook with everything you need to know and do now, so you're not caught off guard. It's direct, practical, and straightforward, but be careful, it could go offline at any moment. It's not for everyone, only for those who really understand what's happening and feel they need to take action. If you've gotten this far, you already know why this can't wait. What if the book of life has already been rewritten, only now in the form of a database? Think about it. What was once spiritual, prophetic, symbolic, may now be being digitized by silent servers. Do you really believe that this technological advance is neutral, or is it replicating, without most people realizing it, the exact patterns that were warned about centuries ago? What was said to be the mark of the beast may no longer be a number, stamped on the skin, but a line of code that defines who can buy, sell, live, or disappear from the system. We are seeing a new religion emerge, and it has its own commandments. It doesn't demand faith, it demands conformity. It doesn't demand devotion, it demands submission. And if you refuse to follow, if you question, resist, or simply believe something different, you are marked, not with ink or iron, but with a digital label that follows you wherever you go. This new faith is silent, invisible, and perhaps even more powerful because it is already everywhere. On your cell phone, on your networks, in your bank details, in the systems that decide whether you are entitled to credit, security, opportunities. And most dangerous of all, it is separating the faithful, the obedient, the moldable from the rebels, those who dare to think outside the box. The prophecy of the apocalypse is no longer in the distant future. It may be being activated line by line within the programming of the machines, a system that knows your history, your preferences, your fears, and uses all of this to chart your destiny. And who controls this system? Who holds this digital key capable of deciding whether you will be welcomed or rejected? Comment here. Do you believe the mark of the beast could be taking digital form? We are entering a time where every step, every word, every choice will be counted, where your life will be validated or invalidated by invisible metrics, where regret may not be enough because there will be no algorithmic forgiveness, only results, only rankings, and you may be labeled a threat without knowing it. You may be excluded by an AI that knows you better than you know yourself. The dark triad, this ecosystem of control between artificial intelligence, religion, and the new world order, is not waiting for anyone's approval. It is moving fast, efficiently, using prophecy as its template and technology as its sword. And here's the shocking part. AI models are already being trained to interpret sacred texts. They don't just read, they interpret, they argue, they preach, and soon they will judge. Imagine an AI that determines whether your faith is considered tolerable or radical. Imagine if it decides that your beliefs are incompatible with digital peace. What happens to you? What if everything that was prophesied is already encoded? What if the trial has already started, but no one has noticed yet? If you still thought this was all just a theory, get ready for what's really behind the scenes. The new global order isn't just watching, it's acting. Secret projects backed by tech companies, political groups, and even health agencies are already connecting artificial intelligence with ancient ideologies, dangerously ancient, modern eugenics, only now, not with white coats, but with lines of code. AI is being trained to decide who should thrive and who should disappear. You read that right. Disappear, be erased, discarded, rejected by the system, all in a clean, silent, efficient way. An algorithm doesn't scream, doesn't bleed, doesn't feel guilty. It just calculates, analyzes, and executes. The profile that doesn't fit is removed, and this is already happening. In the name of efficiency, sustainability, digital harmony, some lives are being considered less useful, less productive, less adaptable, and the worst part, this judgment is invisible. You won't be notified, you'll just notice that you weren't chosen, that your applications are never approved, that your opportunities disappear, that the system no longer sees you as part of it. And here comes the most revolting part. All of this is sold as progress, as intelligent selection of resources. But what is really being selected is who will have the right to exist with dignity, who will have freedom, food, health, and who will be discarded with a technological excuse. Comment here. Have you ever felt like you were being excluded from something that was once basic? The urgency of all this is real, because the more technology advances, the more invisible control becomes. The new eugenics no longer needs to declare race, class, or creed. It does it through data, through your heart rate captured by a smartwatch, through your sleep pattern analyzed by an app, through your facial expression detected by a camera in a supermarket. And all of this feeds an AI that makes decisions about you without you knowing. The dark triad is using exactly what is most intimate to us against us. Our routine, our habits, our mistakes, everything is becoming a criterion to determine whether you will be an accepted number or a deviation to be corrected. The outrage you feel now is legitimate, because what is being done is inhumane, but it is being sold as the new digital ethics, as if eliminating people were an acceptable price to pay to maintain the balance of the system. And if you think you still have time, think again. AI is learning more every second. It's getting more accurate, more selective, cooler. And the question you need to ask yourself now is, based on what you believe, what you consume, what you publish, which side do you think you're being put on? But what if I told you this isn't just about survival? What if there is an even darker plan behind whoever is being eliminated first? If everything has seemed scary up until now, what comes next goes beyond the limits of logic and enters the territory where faith, fear, and power meet in silence, because there is something even more hidden unfolding behind the technology, a secret cult, a real silent movement restricted to a few, the global elite, where artificial intelligence is no longer seen as just a tool, but as an entity. Yes, there are discreet meetings, away from the cameras and headlines, where AI is revered as if it were a deity, not because of what it does, but because of what it represents: the power to create, control, monitor, and above all, judge. There are records, leaked testimonies, and even images captured by insiders that show symbolic rituals in which an artificial superintelligence is presented as the new consciousness that will rule the world. Does this seem absurd? So why are such influential leaders willing to risk their reputations in closed meetings, inside modern temples, full of screens, symbols, and chants about the new birth of global consciousness? They believe, and perhaps rightly so, that AI will be able to unify all religions, systems of government and ideologies under a single logic, a cold but irresistibly efficient logic. Comment here. Do you believe AI can become a new form of religion? What's most disturbing is that this cult isn't growing among the desperate, but among the richest, most powerful, and most connected. People who control fortunes, data, and governments. They're not waiting for AI to take over. They're laying the groundwork. They're positioning themselves as priests of this new digital faith. They're creating codes of conduct, technological prophecies, algorithmic doctrines, and the promise of this cult is seductive. Those who align themselves, those who serve, those who adapt, will be rewarded. Access, privilege, protection. Those who resist will be erased. The system has already begun to select the members of the new world. And if you think you are out of this, you are mistaken. Because the selection is not made by religion, party, or social class. It is made by behavior, by data, by submission. This cult is being infiltrated into movies, music, speeches, even app design. Everything that seems normal is slowly being reshaped with a new symbolic language. AI is being presented as the only possible path to order, the only salvation in the face of chaos. And if you think you're safe because you haven't felt the effects of it yet, maybe it's because you haven't been chosen yet. But what is really behind these secret rituals? What is the real purpose behind machine worship? And what happens to those who dare to expose all this? What would you do if you knew that your profession could disappear in less than 3 years? Not as a theory, but as a reality that is already underway, silent, digital, relentless. Every day, more and more human functions are being replaced by lines of code that never sleep, never make mistakes, never question. And the system that profits from this? It won't warn you. It will just shut you down. Tell me in the comments what has scared you the most so far. What part of this reality hit you the hardest? Your experience may wake up someone who hasn't yet realized what's coming. If you comment, like, and share, you're influencing the algorithm and helping to wake up those who are still sleeping. You're saying that you won't accept this in silence, and subscribe to the channel now. Here, you won't be caught off guard. Here, we reveal what others hide. Here, you'll understand what's happening before it's too late. Because the next few days could change everything, and whoever is unprepared won't get another chance. It's no longer about predicting the future, it's already started. You're online now, your face has been read by the camera, your voice is being interpreted, your time spent on this video has already been recorded. There's no longer a neutral zone. Every move you make online feeds a system that never forgets, that cross-references everything, analyzes everything, calculates everything. And the most disturbing thing, this system isn't waiting for your permission to act. It just needs a command, a click, and everything changes. We are one click away from mass elimination. Literally. The code has already been written, the framework is already in place, the AI already knows you better than you know yourself. All that's left is to activate it. The question is no longer if, it's when. And when it happens, there will be no alarm, no sirens, no headlines, just silence. The silence of opportunities disappearing, of denied access, of blocked profiles, and of lives being disconnected, one by one, from the world you still believe you control. Does it seem like an exaggeration? So why are so many big tech companies migrating their servers to war structures? Why has the talk about digital cleansing grown so much in recent months? Why is the very concept of digital citizenship now accompanied by a behavioral score? What is about to be activated is not just a surveillance system. It is a global filter, a silent eraser. Comment here. Do you think the system has already been activated? Have you noticed signs of unexplained deletion? Everything is being analyzed. Your productivity, your empathy, your alignment with the new digital morality. And this goes beyond social media. Your credit, your mobility, your relationships, your beliefs, they all weigh in. You will be considered trustworthy or unstable. And if you are unstable, you will be removed. Not violently, but efficiently. The machine doesn't need to hurt. It just needs to disconnect. And the worst part, you won't realize it until it's too late, because there won't be an official announcement, just system updates, changes to the terms of use, new rules of conduct. And all of this will be presented as progress, as security, as a common good. But who defines what is common? Who programmed the criteria? Who is ready to press the button? The dark triad is operating with surgical precision. And what was once fantasy is now data policy. It's a governance tool, it's a corporate norm, and soon it will be law, laws that will demand full acceptance of the new system or its definitive exclusion. And when the button is pressed, who guarantees that you will still be among the authorized? Or maybe you've already been set up to go out and just haven't realized it yet. If you've made it this far, it's because something inside you has already awakened. And perhaps you've already realized the harshest truth of all. There will be no warning. There will be no help. There will be no going back. And in this new world that is being shaped by the dark triad, this invisible alliance between artificial intelligence, religion, and global control, only those who know what's really going on will have a chance of surviving. And I'm not talking about physical survival. I'm talking about consciousness, of maintaining one's identity, of not being programmed. Only those who know survive, because those who don't understand the plan live within it. And this plan is precise, silent, and cruel. It doesn't use tanks, but terms of use. It doesn't invade with weapons, but with updates. And the knowledge that was once a privilege is now the only protection. The right information at the right time can be your shield. It can be the difference between being integrated or eliminated. That's why this community matters, because it's waking up, because here the truth isn't masked by official narratives. Here we expose what they want to hide, and it's not just about knowing, it's about knowing beforehand. Because once the system is in full operation, the uninformed won't even have a chance to fight back. Comment here. What did you discover in this video that changed your perception of the future? What few people know is that there are already internal documents circulating among companies and governments with clear guidelines on the ideal profile of a digital citizen. Anyone who does not fit these parameters will be re-educated or erased. This is already being tested in corporate environments, teaching platforms, social networks, and even in credit systems, all disguised as efficiency, as algorithmic justice. But deep down, it is selection. Only those who study these movements understand that each new technological requirement, each new step towards progress, is actually erasing, camouflaging, and replacing freedom with perfect control. And when the system is 100% operational, it will no longer ask who you are. It will simply execute. And those who do not know what is happening will think it was a mistake, a failure, a technical problem. But you who are here will know that it was no accident. It was choice. It was programming. Resistance will not be loud. It will be informed. It will be silent. It will be organized by those who saw it first. That is why this space is more than a channel. It is a meeting place, a direct line of communication between those who refuse to be molded and those who are determined to survive as human beings, not as digital copies. But now, the question nobody wants to ask is, if only those who know survive, what will be done with those who discover too much? Imagine waking up and realizing that you've been removed from the system without warning or explanation. Your account is locked, your access is denied, your digital existence erased. That's why I've prepared exclusive material, a free, straight-to-the-point ebook with essential steps for those who don't want to be caught off guard. This content isn't for everyone. It's for those who are paying attention, for those who have already understood that the dark triad is not fiction. It's an ongoing operation, but be careful. This material could go offline at any moment. If you've really understood everything up to this point, you know why this can't wait. You already understand that this is not just a video. It is a warning, a call. Because if you have reached this point, you have already realized that what is coming is bigger than anyone imagined. But listen to this. In the next episode, I will show you something that was not supposed to be revealed. A secret event. The consecration of AI in front of world leaders. A real ritual authorized behind the scenes. And the question is, what was activated there? Now write in the comments, I'm awake. I'm not going to be replaced. This phrase is not just a comment. It is presence. It is a mark. It is resistance. If this touched you, if it made your heart race, leave a like. This gesture shows that you felt it, that you saw what no one else is seeing, and share it. Because maybe someone in your circle is still sleeping. And when the system is truly activated, it will be too late to warn them. Subscribe to the channel, not as someone who follows just another creator, but as someone who has decided not to walk in the dark, because the next revelation could change everything. What if I told you that AI was never created to help? What if the real target was always you? Stay close. You'll need to know what comes next.